Hello, and welcome to Tales from the Backlog. My name is Steve Boshier. That will be your game master for the evening. If you don't know this channel, this is Shadows of Archonia. We play lots of tabletop role-playing games. We finally got back to our main campaign on Friday nights, or I should say our big ongoing campaign on Friday nights, which is in Worlds Without Number. It is Shadows of Archonia 2, the second in the series from which the channel takes its name. That video isn't available yet due to technical difficulties, but there will be a recording of it up soon. And then we'll be back for episode 44 on Friday. But on Monday nights like tonight, we have this whole other show called Tales from the Backlog, where we play all kinds of games, and we trade out every 3 weeks or so. Sometimes 2 weeks, sometimes 1 week. This is what, our seventh-ish, sixth or seventh Vaesen, but not in a row. It's our first one in a row. If you don't know Vaesen, you can find out more about it by watching all of our previous Vaesen videos, of which there's some. But yeah, this is Nordic horror role-playing, set for now entirely in Sweden. There are expansion books, one called Mythic Britain and Ireland, which we have not gotten into yet, and another one called Mythic Carpathia, which is currently we're currently awaiting release. But we love Vaesen. At least I love Vaesen, and these guys play it with me. So there we go. Why don't we go around and introduce our characters for tonight, starting with Jason?
Oh, starting with me.
I'm
Isaac Kaufman. I'm a 40-something Jewish doctor living in Uppsala. You know, I'm kind of a weirdo, a little hard to get along with, but I'm working on that. And I'm kind of sexually attracted to monsters.
Yeah, okay.
I am Ada Conan. I am a doctor, midwife. I'm 35. My purpose is to just take care and heal people. My dark secret was that I was actually in love with a Vaesen and fell in love with her and adopted her child. They were murdered by a town that accused them of causing crop failure and all kinds of different animal deformities at birth and all kinds of things. And my mission in life is to find out why. Maybe find out who the father was of our child. But that's my secret.
Dark secrets. Hi, Mia. I am playing Klar Nordenmorg. He is a military officer, middle-aged. He's our sort of like financier, as he is well off with some cash money. His dark secret isn't too bad. You know, he just murdered a defenseless enemy. Not like he hasn't done that a couple times over the course of our games.
No.
But yeah, he's mostly the muscle, the tactician, and defense guy. You know. So.
Also the money.
Yeah, he's the money, but he's not the thinker. He relies on Isaac and Ada to do that.
And we gladly use your name.
Yeah, so in our previous stories, we have we've eliminated a ghost. We fought a night sow. We
went up against that church
grim, yeah, and most recently gave a banjo back to some trolls.
Yep.
Not a banjo, but whatever the Scandinavian version of a banjo is.
What was that pig monster we
that was the night sow.
That was a night sow.
Okay. I didn't hear it clearly. Okay, cool. Yeah, he was our first. You never forget your first Vaesen. Anyway.
No, the first one.
The ghost was our first.
The first for Klar and Isaac was the ghost. A Dance of Dreams, which is the scenario in the core book.
Okay.
That's what you went to an inn.
What happened?
Yeah, with the shed out back and things like
Yeah,
that.
there was a shed out back. There was like a little girl making a shadow play
That's
in
right.
the attic,
That's right.
or a teenage girl. Anyway, now that we've got the backstory out of the way, we've got for tonight we have Clar, Isaac, and Ada, and as you can see, I've pulled up Uppsala on the map. That's how we insist on saying it until someone corrects us. Tonight's scenario will take us, like they all seem to do, far from Uppsala. I sent you all a...
Yes.
what do you call it? A letter. Would anyone care to read it for us? Because it is a letter that already has arrived addressed to whomever.
To whom it may concern, my name is Oscar Udgren, priest in the fishing village of whatever the fuck that word is. It is with a heavy heart. Yeah, sure. It is with a heavy heart that I write these lines. I am at wit's end with my current predicament, and so I turn to you. I met with members of your exalted order during my studies in Uppsala and a few years ago, and now I place my hope in your particular talents and expertise. My best friend and mentor, Victor Carl Eric Hedquist?
Hedqvist. Hedqvist.
Hedquist.
And it's dead. Vicar, not Victor. Vicar being a what do you call it? A position.
Yeah, Vicar.
Yeah.
Yes. Vicar Carl Eric Hedquist is dead. His body was found a week ago, washed up on a beach in the local archipelago. The coroner has identified the cause of death as a self-inflicted gunshot to the head and written it off as a suicide. I refuse to accept this conclusion, certain that there is something unnatural afoot, and I know who is responsible. What I lack is proof and the means to do something about it. I last saw Carl Eric alive 1 week before he was found dead. He was once again heading out to Wrecker Isle in the archipelago to bring the word of God to the depraved seafarers frequenting the inns on the island. Wrecker Isle is a hub for maritime traffic and the site of the largest herring saltery in the archipelago. Some days the sea lane is so clogged with boats and ships that people can walk across them halfway to our village. Wrecker Isle reeks with herring and sin, a godless stain on this earth. The proprietors of this den of thieves, herring baron Zacharias Amundsen?
Amundsen? Yeah, you got it.
Amundsen, and his mother, Abela, whom the locals call the Godmother, are openly defying the teachings of our Lord and have thrown out the good vicar every time he visited Wrecker Isle. The poor dears. I am convinced that the herring baron and the Godmother, along with Zachariah's feeble-minded but dangerous older brothers, Dahl, Deet, and Dace,
those are P's. Paul, Pete, and Pace.
Are they? Because they look like D's.
Yeah, but I've seen it in the actual font, so.
Paul, Peter, and Pace are doing the devil's bidding and are to blame for Carl Eric's untimely death. I shall go to Wrecker Isle to find proof of their guilt and face these henchmen of Satan face to face. I require your assistance in this perilous endeavor. If you cherish your God and wish to help his humble servant in his time of greatest need, meet me in this place at your earliest convenience. With highest regards, Oscar Udgren.
Yalbaka.
Sure, that place.
Interesting that he would ask us to go in the name of God, considering.
I mean,
I understand he is a priest, and that is how he believes. But
Yeah, it's definitely a little weird that he's coming to us specifically in general. I think he just happened to, I think he sent this letter expecting more of a Christ-fearing audience and reception.
yeah, he might be a little surprised when we arrive, but I think we should do it.
Yeah, I think I was talking to Patty about this prior to the call tonight, but I think that the society has a bit of a reputation as monster hunters, even though that's not exactly what you do. That's the simplest way that people can understand it. And so the fact that you're out here eliminating these creatures of darkness, as he probably sees it, he makes assumptions.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we are not always out to destroy the Vaesen, but sometimes help them, like the Troll Village.
Yeah, you are out to settle disputes.
Also, since I have 3/4 of my group here, can I get a vote on whether we wanted to add the Annals of the Society to our headquarters? I put it in the Discord chat and nobody replied to it.
That was way back after the last one.
It was.
What was it that you wanted to add? I'm sorry, what did you want to add?
Annals of the Society. It's a hefty tome of written accounts of encounters with Vaesen.
You have, on my end, you have 2 votes. Mine and Astrid's.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll third that.
Thank you.
Alrighty.
I don't know how much Steve wants to deal with that right now. But
well, what mechanically does it give you?
Okay, so, what the Annals of the Society give us is they're going to cost 4 of our development points, which we can easily afford.
Great.
And at the end of a gaming session, a player can record the party's experiences, granting each player character 1 additional experience point.
Awesome.
Nice.
But now I have to actually find where this fucking rule is. Every time we upgrade, there's stuff that happens. Yeah, there's the threats. So, yeah, honey, you want to be in the window? You can be in the window. Sorry. Go. Okay, so every time you purchase an upgrade, there's a risk that a threat will arise. The Game Master makes a hidden roll using a number of dice equal to the cost of the upgrade. Should any of the dice roll a success, the Game Master chooses a threat from the table. If multiple upgrades are purchased on a single occasion, the Game Master makes multiple rolls and adds an extra die for each additional upgrade. If it is therefore possible for several threats to arise at the same time. And this is pages 86 and 87, Steve.
Okay.
90 and 91 if you're just putting it into the PDF reader.
Yeah, all I heard was it's something we deal with at the end of the session, or at the end of the mystery.
It was something I wanted to deal with at the end of last mystery.
Well, I will for now say that the no threat arises. I'll just fiat that. But we can do it again at the end of this one.
I mean, yeah, if we want to just do it at the end of this one, just to do it.
Yeah. And the extra experience point, I'll say that can be retroactive to the last one.
Well, I mean, we hadn't built it at the end of the last one. I wanted it for this one just to be a going forward
fair enough.
Sort of thing.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, you did bring it up sort of on the day of the last one, even though it was after the call. But yeah, nobody answered you, so there you go.
I'm not trying to get something extra there. I just wanted it in place now.
No problem. It is in place. So as far as today, you guys have a long journey ahead of you. Where did I put that map of Sweden? You guys are going to go basically... I mean, it's not like the length of the country, but it's definitely the width of it. Why did I close this folder? Okay. So, whoops. You didn't see that. Here's your town, your city, I should say, Uppsala. And all the way over here somewhere is Fjällbacka.
Oh.
So
Yeah.
how long will it take by carriage or by train to get there?
So it's going to be mostly by carriage. You are actually going to have to get on a boat to cross the Vaesen, this big water, and and then another carriage to get to Fjällbacka. Let's see if it lists. It's several days of arduous travel is all it tells me. So I say, maybe 4.
Okay.
Now, this is a small fishing village that you're heading to. Does anyone want to do any research or any other sort of activities before leaving Uppsala?
Yeah, I think we
Look
should,
into- sorry, go ahead.
we can look this place up. And I mean, this guy's talking a lot of smack about it. But,
Yeah.
I mean,
Well,
maybe he's just really full of shit.
Yeah, and just how powerful is this Baron Zacharias Amundsen Anderson?
okay, so you can find a map of the archipelago. And as you can see, the map does not contain very much in the way of like landmarks on the individual islands. As best you can tell, it's because Wrecker Isle, where this inn is supposedly drawing all this traffic, and where the Herring Baron lives, it's pretty new. So it's not on recent maps. Fjällbacka is there, but like I said, it's just kind of a little fishing village. Excuse me. And all these islands are kind of considered non-entities in the books that you have and the maps that you have.
Okay, so there wouldn't be any history of specific Vaesen maybe hanging out in that area or possibly offshore of that area? Is there anything in that vicinity that we have history of any types of Vaesen hanging out?
There is not. It's pretty quiet as far as your history books are concerned.
Okay. That's fair.
Was there any information about the Baron and his family, his addle-minded older siblings? Is that what that said?
Yeah, older siblings. I don't know if the letter specified that he does have 3 older brothers, but again, their family has come to prominence only in recent years, so it's not really a subject of much writing on the other side of the country right now. There's no internet, so
Do we have any information about the man that's gone missing other than the letter? Do we know of him? Is he infamous for anything through the church? Or I mean, he's a vicar, so do we know?
For that, let's have a roll about it, because
Okay.
you'd have to probably, in order to look up a priest, you might want to go visit a church and try and get it out of them,
course.
if they would have records, which they might because you're in a major city. I would say if you can do maybe inspiration to try and convince someone to give you the information.
All right, let's see what I got on inspiration.
I've got 4 total.
I've only got 3, so why don't you roll for it there? Clar.
All right. Well, priest, that is a 6, a 5, and a couple 2s.
Okay, it's pretty good. So you find, in terms of this priest, not too much. Certainly nothing of interest, right? He is sort of listed as a church employee, but he's not. There's nothing that stands out about him other than sort of a long and satisfactory career serving the church. He's been in Filbaka for a long time. He is, everything that is written about him is positive. He's a good guy. He's faithful. He's pious. And he has taken Oscar Udgren, the priest who wrote you, under his wing as a mentor. And that's about it. There's no mention of any crimes or any suspicions or any dark dealings or anything like that. Just that this guy exists. He is a priest.
Okay.
So yeah, no ulterior motives or strange reasons as to why he would go to Wrecker Island. He just decided to go one day and do God's work. According to this guy.
And no encounters or written documentation of him encountering Vaesen or anything like that.
No, nothing written like that. But to your point, Clar, going to Wrecker Isle isn't some big trip. It's a day trip. This is all the same local area, this whole archipelago. People in Filbaka would go out and visit these isles all the time. It's considered part of the same sort of what's the word I'm looking for? The same area. So it would be within his purview to go out there if there were people there.
And it sounds like he goes out there frequently.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so yeah, it's not just like one day he went to some island offshore and never came back. It's a place that is part of his local community.
Okay.
Let's say Whale Isle. Whale Island. Okay.
Yeah, there's Whale Isle.
And you said this is a pretty new community, right?
Sorry.
A pretty new setup.
Yeah, Fjallbacka's been there a while, but the Herring Baron has not been the Herring Baron for more than a few years. Yeah.
So nothing historical before that?
That's right. There was nothing major going on those islands. People have lived there for a long, long time, but it was like tiny outcroppings of people. It becoming an important hub of maritime activity is pretty new.
Okay.
As we know, these new territories that these people are expanding into were occupied in the past by either native folk or Vaesen in their natural habitat, so it is no surprise that there might actually be one on that isle.
Correct. Then maybe they stirred something up unknowingly, building up such a popular area. A busy port could...
A self-inflicted gunshot wound, though. I mean, we'll see.
Yeah, it sounds a little strange that he would go to that island to kill himself.
Yeah. Why waste the day to trip there? Why not just walk out into the woods and do the deed? Surely there is a murderer afoot.
Sounds like it to me. But never good to make assumptions. We'll see what we get there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring a couple extra books on the area, maybe some extra maps, and while we travel, I am going to just as much research as I can about the area, possibly the church that runs out of there, as much as I can. Documents that I'll bring with me. Always have a book in my face.
Is that what you are doing to gain an advantage for the session?
Yes. So it will be on logic. It'll be on learning logic.
Okay.
When do we want to do preparatory equipment?
That was kind of what I was asking when I said, do you want to do anything before you leave Uppsala? So now.
Then, yeah. Okay.
Well, that and research, both.
Cool. So I've got 2 successes. So that gives me 2. You know what? I think I am going to get myself.
What are you rolling for, Jason? I'm sorry.
So preparatory equipment. It's on page 73. It's the thing we do at the start of an investigation to buy stuff, where you roll your resources dice, and every success gives you 1 point of buying power on the following equipment and gear stuff.
Okay.
Oh, geez. No successes on 5.
The Vaesen dice have not been kind to you guys lately.
There's some 1s, a 2, a 3, and a 4. Yay! So I am broke. Apparently, I've been.
Well, no, like you're not broke. It's just there's also you have capital that you can spend, assuming you have more than 1 or 2 points in resources. But this is like start of the mystery, getting some stuff to use on the mystery. I'm buying a set of lockpicks.
Okay.
And
this mystery.
see, and we roll our resource dice, you said?
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's basically abstracting whether you're able to get these, not whether you have the money, but whether you can find it, whether you can find it in your price range.
I just got 3 successes.
Nice.
All right.
It's 0 successes, so you all have at it.
So with 3 6s.
Did we talk about Clar having like a alcohol problem?
Yeah, I would say he missed that last adventure because maybe he was like somewhere like chasing the dragon, so to speak. He was in a drug den somewhere.
Yeah, I thought I remembered that. You have a syringe as your memento. Maybe that's why you have all this money, but you never seem able to spend it. You're just like, probably. You can't find your way to the right store. You can't summon up the will to walk away from what you're doing.
Oh, yeah. There you go. You all enjoy your equipment.
Anything you are buying there, Ada?
Oh, I am still looking.
Okay.
I will, let's see. And since I got 3 successes,
yeah.
Does that mean
so you've got up to 3 availability of equipment you can buy?
Okay.
Like 3 availability 1 availability 1 2, or 1 3.
Yeah, and the equipment is
pages 74 and 75.
Thank you.
I'm making notes of it on my character sheet so it's easier to jump around in the PDF.
Yeah.
Or in the book, technically.
That's what I'm trying
to
do.
At one point, buy a dog or get a dog.
You want a dog?
I was looking
at one point we had a hunting dog, I thought, but
did we?
I don't remember that.
Yeah.
Which doesn't mean it didn't happen, but I don't remember it.
Yeah. I'm just saying. I don't remember either. It's like I hadn't. Apparently, my notes are sporadic and.
Okay. So yeah, you rolled 3 6s, Ada. So in the equipment table under the availability column, you can spend 3 there.
Oh, I see. Okay. Well, then let's see. I like that they have these books of learning. What does it do for me? Like it says, I'm sorry, it's been a while since I was able to purchase anything, but it says, for example, to find information for learning. Does that just give me an extra dice?
So
Yeah.
you're looking at book collection?
Just to start.
No, I'm just making sure I'm looking at the same thing you're looking
Oh, yes.
at.
Uh-huh.
So
Mhm.
yeah, you'd use that book collection, and when you use it to find information on a learning roll, you'd roll with the +1 bonus from the second column.
Nice. So I think that's what I'll do. I think I will do the book collection and possibly take some more medical equipment.
Okay. No problem. I wish I knew why these items are in the order that they're in. Maybe they're alphabetical in Swedish.
Possibly.
Maybe that's why I was wondering why it wasn't alphabetical, but
Yeah.
I do remember having those hunting traps from ages ago, but I don't know. Probably not something we still are, just not something we pack up and take with us.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I mean, if they're on your sheet and you didn't use them up somehow, then I guess you still have them.
Yeah, we had those for that night sow adventure, but
that's what I was. Another question: are they use them once and they're gone?
No. I mean, an item, as long as they're not destroyed somehow or lost.
okay.
We'll just give you an extra bonus. Okay.
Yeah, and all of this sort of resources, availability, lingo, it's very abstract. You're not meant to get too bogged down in bookkeeping. Like, that's kind of the point of it.
Yeah.
You have things that it is appropriate for your character to have based on their lifestyle. So that, just to throw that part out there.
Okay.
Yeah, so we have Ada doing the research on the journey. I'm sorry, before we move on, did anyone else have anything more to do preparation-wise?
I don't know. Maybe do some target shooting to get my get a bonus on shooting my gun later.
Okay. That's good. That's technically for the journey phase, but that we can just...
And
merge
those
them
kind of
together.
things you can do one to get a bonus for later, correct?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Just a little refresher to my brain.
Oh, you know what? There is a little bit more specifics. You guys were researching Philbacca, and I did give you the broad strokes just from memory, but it just in case this helps. The fishing village itself was founded roughly 200 years ago and is now a hub for herring fishing on the West Coast. The ups and downs have always depended on the quantities of herring available. So there's that.
Okay.
Good. I love me
Are
some
you
good
okay, my
herring.
good doctor? You've developed this cough.
Yeah, it's that time of year.
How about your advantage, Dr.
Yeah, I'm still working on that. You know, I'm thinking my advantage for this mystery is going to be one of my patients that I am on actually good terms with.
Ooh.
Is a sea captain.
Oh, okay.
You know,
Nice.
I don't really know a ton about him, but we've always been on good terms, and he does ply trade up in or out in this area that I genuinely cannot pronounce. So I can use him. If I can use him in a situation, it will get me advantage on that roll.
Absolutely. I don't know if this will help. I'm going to put the name of the village in the Discord. It's
less that it's unpronounceable and more that it's a Falbaka?
Yeah.
Falbaka?
Yeah, I think that's about right.
Yeah, I was just looking it up. Online.
And I'll throw in the names of the parties you have been told about so far. Carl Eric Hedqvist is the dead man. And Oscar Udgren is the person who wrote you the letter. Let's see. I'm looking for a place to copy paste the others, but so yeah, you guys set out on your journey. You, like I said before, it's several days. There are both coaches and boats involved, and you do eventually arrive at the village of Fjallbacka, where you are met by Oscar. He will hustle up to you guys as you are exiting the coach. Hello, you are the representatives of the society, yes?
We are?
I am Oscar Udgren. Thank you so much for responding to my letter and arriving so quickly.
Well, of course we came right away.
Well, welcome to Fjallbacka.
So I'm curious, sir, what makes you think that we can help you in this situation?
Well, Carl believed that there was some dark connotation to the hedonism that goes on out on Wrecker Isle. Ever since the herring baron set up shop out there many years ago, there has been a constant stream of sailors, one type or another, always there, getting drunk, gambling, fighting, which is bad enough on its own, of course, but there is also the occasional disappearance. Zacharias Amundsen, the herring baron, his family were once, some 30 years ago, just a poor fishing family. The rumor has it they made a living from wrecking.
Do you think there might be some kind of a natural source?
Well, it's possible. The father of Zacharias and the wife of Abela, or the husband of Abela, did die under dubious circumstances, and the rumor has always been that he was beaten to death by Zacharias. So when Zacharias then went on to become so successful in business, there's just an uncomfortable, demonic sort of feeling about the people there. Carl Eric, Carl Eric knew it, and he made many trips out to Wrecker Isle to try and persuade them to change their ways, but to no avail.
Interesting.
You did hurl some pretty substantial accusations about them worshiping the devil or doing Satan's work. I mean,
one need not be conscious of Satan to be doing his work. It is inarguable that the presence of the inn on Wrecker Isle has brought all manner of violence and debauchery to our area. The question is whether there is something more sinister than that going on as well.
Well, we will
Abella,
definitely try to get to the bottom of it.
well, I will be traveling with you. I have hired a boat to take us out to Wrecker Isle, which is where I believe we have to start. What else can I tell you about the area?
Where was he staying? If he wasn't allowed in the inn when he visited the island, was he just making day trips or was he staying overnight?
For the most part, he would make day trips. The inn is quite expensive. I don't think he would have stayed there the night, even if he hadn't been thrown out. He was known on previous trips to stay in the boat that took him out. And on other trips, he would go early in the morning and come back in the evening. On this last trip, he was gone for 2 days and then washed up on shore with a gunshot wound. Now, he had carried a revolver out there because on previous trips he had been assaulted for preaching the word on Wrecker Isle. They did violence to him, so when he went back, he took his revolver. When he was found, the gunshot wound to his head, the doctors said it was point-blank range, likely self-inflicted and consistent with his own revolver. Or at least with that type of weapon. The gun was not found on him.
And you knew him well enough to know that he didn't have any psychological, let's say, trauma from these beatings and this conviction that evil was afoot.
Psychological trauma? Do you mean, is it possible
Perhaps
that he
one
went...
that would cause him to perhaps kill himself from fear or from failure?
He had no such thing. He, if anything, was angry and committed, but he was not depressed or self-deprecating.
And to take one's life is...
Sorry, you knew him to have a strong will then.
Yes, very much so. I don't know that he would have shot the gun at someone else, to be honest. He was largely a man of peace, but he did own it, so maybe he would have fired at someone. But his life was threatened, you understand. Mm-hmm. Some would have not gone back, and he did, if that answers your question about strong wills.
Yes, it does. Clara, did you have a question?
Yeah. Clara, were you going to say something?
Oh, I was just going to comment on taking his own life would be considered a sin and possibly keep him out of heaven. So, yeah, I would be surprised that he would do such a thing as well. So.
Yes, it's not consistent. I know that people sometimes do unexpected things, and those who have taken their own lives, it's often unexpected by those who knew them. But trust me, this just doesn't add up.
If you say he has been assaulted by these islanders before, then there may be somebody there who does have had it out for him, excuse me.
Indeed.
So we will definitely need to be cautious.
Yes, I will go with you to show you around. There is a friend of mine working at the inn, Justina Johansson, a good friend from childhood. I fear greatly for her soul working in such a place. I hope to convince her to come back to the village. But while I am there also, I will show you around and answer any questions that you have. The boat is ready for us if you are prepared to head out to the island now.
I have one question. The locals there, they're very familiar with you. They know who you are.
The locals do. The majority of the people present will not be locals.
Have you ever been scared for your safety? Do you go out and preach the word of God to the island as well, or was that just the victor's job?
Well, as a junior priest here in our local church, he often would assign me to stay here in Felbaka and tend to things while he was away. There is enough for a priest to do right here in this little fishing village that he didn't feel the need to take us both off. I have been out there, though, and I have to say it is indeed a troubling place. Alcoholism abounds. Abella, the godmother, she runs the tavern at the inn there, and the place is such that she has to sit in the corner with a shotgun at all times.
Abella, there's the godmother.
Yes, she is the mother of Zacharias.
It's important, but I would ask that if you wouldn't mind, maybe not wearing your priestly garb on this trip, so that you may be a little more less noticeable.
Well, it is my intention to speak the truth of the Lord while I am there, and as you noted, the locals already know who I am. So I am not inclined to remove my collar.
Are you sure? Because not all of them are locals, and we know that seafaring folk can be unpredictable.
Well, let me clarify. The threats against Carl Eric's life came from Zacharias' family.
Well, of course, I understand that completely.
I understand your concern, but I will not be leaving behind my ropes.
Understandable. In my experience, the people of our country aren't all practitioners of your religion. Some may take offense to just seeing you or knowing that you are there to speak to them of something they do not wish to hear. For they have their own ways that may date back hundreds of years, if not 1,000 years, in their own family lines.
Well, that is certainly possible, but if it is such that they hate me just because I am who I am and they are who they are, taking off the robes is not going to help.
Then can I request that if we feel that you are in danger, that you either, of course we'd like you to introduce us to Justina, but if we feel that your life is in danger, would you mind returning to the boat?
Yes, retreat to someplace safe.
So that I would be concerned about our own safety and not yours as well.
Give me an inspiration test on that.
I'm going to help you out with that.
Yes, please. Can you do that? I've got 3 dice. And I got highest is a 4.
As I help, I forget, is that like an extra dice that she would roll? I believe so, yeah.
For an 8, yeah.
It's like a +1. Because you were also in the conversation contributing.
Yeah.
My highest was a 5.
Okay.
All right. So he will sort of politely nod at that and say, I will take your counsel under advisement. I know you have experience in these matters. But he's non-committal.
Okay.
That's him, by the way. I forgot to put his picture up at the start of the conversation.
As I lean over to Ada, and I'm like, well, his life is in his own hands. I will not take responsibility for his safety if the Lord will turn on this.
I'm going to agree, and I said if we have to return him to that boat by force, we might have to.
Mm.
I will not be responsible for his death or injury either. We have enough on our plates, I think, entering this situation. And we don't necessarily want to enter as the bad guy, if that makes sense.
Yeah, this is why I would almost prefer that he not be with us, but that's okay, I guess.
I guess we can't convince him otherwise.
Sounds like it.
Let me have an observation test from either of you, but not both.
Okay.
Let me see. My observation is, let me have a look. Terrible, so...
-4 dice?
I've got 2, so...
I did get a success that
Okay.
time.
Okay, so Ada,
Yeah.
you're pretty sure, reading body language here, the significant word in his reason for going out to the island was the word Justina. He's going for her.
Right. And I understand that he is
Yeah.
going for Justina, but I am a little concerned for our own safety.
Yeah.
And I have a heightened sense of trying to somehow distance ourselves as soon as we meet Justina and try to
Fair enough.
investigate.
Okay.
Well-
Sir, please show us to this boat.
Yeah, and we can sort of fudge and say some of this conversation was sort of on the boat.
On the boat.
Okay.
Were there any more questions you had for him background-wise about the area or anything? Because you'll have the boat ride to talk.
Well, I'm going to talk to Clara a little bit and say, do you think we should ask him if he has seen or heard of any Vaesen activity in this area?
You know what? Okay, yeah, talk.
And I'll talk to you as well, Isaac.
No,
We
no,
will
I
kind of huddle on the...
want to ask him something specifically. While you two are conferring,
Mhm.
I'm kind of. What leads you to specifically believe that these people are in league with your devil?
He does look uncomfortable at the phrasing "your devil," but but he will reply. There are many odd things about this family. As I said, it is believed in the community that the father was beaten to death by Zacharias, the youngest son. And shortly thereafter, in fact, almost immediately thereafter, the family began to prosper.
Oh, excuse me.
Abella bought an old rundown house and turned it into this inn. And Zacharias began the herring fishery and became he who we now know as the Herring Baron. This happened immediately, almost immediately upon the death of their father.
So
There are rumors.
they sacrificed him like a human sacrifice to.
It
obtain
is.
this holy power.
I don't know that I had thought to frame it in that way, but there are always rumors of murder and foul deeds around this family, even going back before the death of the father. They were known to make their living as wreckers, which is those who find shipwrecks and loot them. It is noteworthy how often the sailors in those shipwrecks were dead and unable to be rescued by the Amundsen's. they had a bad reputation, even before. And
Did
now,
you know the father? I'm sorry to interrupt you, but did you know the father that was murdered? Did you know him personally?
No, this was some 30 years ago, and I
30 years
was
ago.
not born yet. But I know what I know of them from Carl Eric.
I see. I just know some family dynamics, you know.
Oh, indeed.
People and men can be stubborn and hindering the prosperity of others.
It does indeed get that way with some families. But
Not the stone murder, I'm sorry, sir.
Well, the murder, sure, but the other thing that often goes unnoticed is that it seemed to me, and it seemed to Carl Eric as well, that there were disappearances fairly regularly out by Wrecker Isle. Often people passing through who would not be missed by the locals, but more than once a year we get people asking for someone who's gone missing while visiting that place. And there is simply, as I said, a foul air about them, especially the three older brothers, Paul, Pete, and Pace. When you are near them, you feel threatened. And I don't know if this is of any significance, but I have heard that Paul has been missing some weeks. In fact, from what I have been able to gather, his absence might coincide with the disappearance of Carl Eric. That part is just rumor. I haven't been out to Wrecker Isle myself since the vicar's body was found. But as I say, rumor has it that Paul has been absent. He is usually in the company of his two brothers, Pete and Pace.
Well, we should definitely get on it before dark. We should check things out, possibly get a room, settle ourselves in. Sir, do you plan on staying with us the duration of our stay? It may take us a few days, a week even, to get to the bottom of some of these things. And I still feel pretty strongly about you being safely in your home when we are on the island.
Well, I appreciate your concern. I do not intend to spend my entire time out there following you around. And as for when I return home, we will have to see how things play out once we get there.
That's fair enough. Fair enough. So
as you guys are sailing out to Wrecker Isle, you can tell, even from far away, that you are approaching this place. Countless fishing boats and freighters moored far out to sea, just bow against stern. You remember in the letter he mentioned that someone could, there are days when someone could walk halfway back to Flabaca, just across the boats, and it's starting to look like that. Your noses let you know as well. There is an incredible stench of herring and train oil, which is a thing I had to look up, but it just means like oil from whales and fish and stuff, which is used for burning. The first thing you notice is, as you get closer to the island itself, is the yellow herring warehouse. Let me get Oscar off of here and put up a little map of the island. Here we go. Bonk. So the warehouse there is the first thing you see. It's yellow. And then next to it are these two other wooden buildings. Both pretty big, but not as big as the warehouse. Oscar will point to them and point out the inn and the Amundsen family residence. That one that says the residence, that's their residence. It is really hard to breathe because of how bad the stench is out here. And the bustle is getting more and more intense the closer you get to the island. The dock is really crowded. There's sweaty fishermen and sailors hauling barrels of herring and train oil between the boats and the quay. There's one full-rigged ship on its way to Gothenburg about to head out. And there's all these smaller boats and schooners and barges competing for the space it's about to leave behind. There are dinghies transporting people and goods between the docks and the larger ships out offshore. It is chaos. There is just so much stuff. It smells bad. It's loud. It's a cacophony of fisher people. Eventually, the captain of your little sloop finds a vacant berth. And I would like to go ahead and say, Isaac, this captain happens to be your friend that you mentioned. The guy who's sailing you out there. So
okay.
Yeah. What is his name?
I hadn't thought of that yet. His name is Jonathan.
Jonathan. Okay, so Captain Jonathan. Captain Johannathan. He is he is gonna be around while you guys are on the island. He'll stay out there. He has other business to attend to. So if you need him, he'll be around. But yeah, eventually he gets you to a vacant berth, and you and Oscar Udgren can climb ashore. You are free to explore the island at this point, but there is a steady stream of people moving to and from the inn. That's one of the first things you notice, is that the inn, even though it's the furthest from the shore, has the highest traffic.
I see.
The priest will suggest that you get a room. The rooms at this inn, if you don't have a 4 resource score, you can't get one. Clar's got it covered. Okay.
Oh, I got
Everyone's got it. Everyone's got it covered.
I have 3 resources.
Well, maybe your friends will.
Clar walk in higher circles at times. Yeah.
All right.
So I will. Yeah. I will walk on your coattails and get a room with you then.
I think you should end that sentence with please.
Please.
Oh, that's not necessary. Good gray. You are a member of the society. I will always cover for our rooms.
I appreciate that immensely.
Yeah, so where would you guys like to head first? Like I said, Oscar is indicating that you ought to go to the inn, but you don't have to do what he says.
I'm gonna whisper that maybe we should meet this Justina right away, and then possibly this guy will feel that he has done his part and will leave us.
Mm.
I'm talking to you two. I'm not, Clara and Isaac. We can get this Justina out of the way. Possibly, we could meet Justina outside of the inn somehow.
Definitely procure a room and then speak to this Justina.
Perhaps you should both help Oscar with this Justina while I procure rooms for our persons.
It's a good idea.
All right.
All right. Thank you, Doctor.
And I'm going to have like a scarf that I keep some of my oils and things to help me in procedures that are sometimes offensive in odor. And I'm going to kind of keep it near my nose.
Yeah, I was just thinking about how you would pour perfume on like a kerchief and just kind of hold it under your nose to avoid the sting.
I will ask Clar if I could borrow his ascot for a minute.
Please, if you have anything you could put on this,
and I will put a little bit of my salve on your ascot and hand it back to you.
It's not often that I travel to places such as this. I've smelled worse on the fields of battle, but this runs a close second.
It's a bit overwhelming, isn't it?
Yeah,
most definitely.
Everyone does seem to have a look on their face that is like just sort of they're just dealing with unpleasantness at all times while they're here. And obviously a lot of them are used to it, but you guys are not.
And I think that's probably obvious.
We are definitely not day laborers, so we definitely don't look like we fit in.
And it doesn't look like we came off any of these ships either.
Right.
That was a question I had, though. Is there any other people around that look like possibly they are not off of like a Hall ship or Herring ship and Whaler ship? Is there anyone else here that might appear...
What, some kind of tourist?
Correct. More of a touristy, like us. Anybody who appears out of place.
Not really. Everyone here is either working or on break. It's there's the staff of the inn, there's the staff of the warehouse, and the fishery and everything. But everyone is either involved with or supporting the fishing industry here.
Okay.
There's no reason for a tourist to be here.
Yeah.
So I've obviously already put up the map of the inn there on the ground floor. When you enter the place, it is loud, lively, is what the book says. There are clouds of tobacco smoke, sailors sitting at folding tables, drinking a beverage called aquavit, and playing cards. I don't know what aquavit is, but I believe you can get drunk on it. There are lightly dressed waitresses bearing chicken feathers dancing between the tables. On top of a liquor barrel in the corner, you see... Where's she at? I gotta turn off the map to show her. There she is. You hear someone refer to her as Godmother, so this is Abella Amundsen, as Oscar will confirm for you. And as he mentioned earlier, she is sitting there with harsh eyes, just sort of scanning the room with a shotgun in hand. This place is, like I said, loud, it's rowdy, and she's liable to have to haul off with that thing at any time. She's wearing a filthy apron that she sort of holds the shotgun in, and it looks like it could stand up on its own. So you are free now to get food or drink or a room. I think you mentioned Isaac getting a room while you two go off after Justina.
Mm-hmm. We'd like to meet Justina.
Okay. Yeah, Oscar will introduce you to her. Let me find her real quick. Yeah. So he will walk up and say to one of the waitresses, who looks exactly like this, only in color. And he will say, Justina, hello, these are some friends of mine that I'm showing around the area. She looks a little bit reluctant to talk because she's working. But she does respond like positively to Oscar's presence. She doesn't try to hide or get away from him or anything. But yeah, he introduces you.
Nice to meet you, young lady.
Oh,
Hel-
nice to meet you. Very, very nice to meet you.
Hello. You're friends of Oscar's? I don't think that we've met before. I'm Justina.
We are more of an acquaintance rather than friends. We do have business. I was wondering, how long is your shift, young lady?
Oh, I'm on all day. The night is someone else.
Do you think late this evening that perhaps we would have a chance maybe to sit down to some of this drink we've heard of, maybe some food, and then we could
Perhaps. What are your names?
my name is Astrid? No. I forgot now. Sorry, my name's Ada. Ada Collins.
Yes, I'm Captain Klar Nordenberg. It's nice to meet you again.
Well, I
yes,
certainly,
if
I certainly don't mind sitting down with people. But did you have something you wanted to talk about?
I think that can wait until later this evening. I don't want to interrupt your work. And I kind of do my eyes towards the godmother and say, we don't want to interrupt your work at all. And we're not here to, stir any pots or anything. We would just like to maybe get to know you better.
Ada, when you glance over at the godmother, you see she is already staring daggers at you and Justina. She is clearly a split second from getting up.
Mm-hmm. So we said, well, we'll talk with you later. I hope you have a fine shift, and we're gonna maybe saddle up and get something to eat.
Okay. Are you guys gonna? Oh, go ahead, Clar.
I was just gonna say, if I kind of catch a glimpse of her dagger eyeing us as well, I'll kind of loudly say, "Yes, now get us those drinks, please."
Okay. Yeah, so she'll hustle off to get you to some drinks. And Oscar will sort of follow after her and continue saying things to her that you cannot hear over the din in the room. As you guys sort of intended, and as was his stated intention as well, he is separated from you. He is not necessarily going to hang out where you guys are hanging out from now on, unless you ask him about something. Isaac, you are able to get a room. Do you want to get
room from?
So there's staff here. There's someone at the counter. You can go up to Abella if you want, but she'll just point you to the counter.
Because I was kind of thinking maybe is she starting to look as she's looking daggers at everyone else. I approach her.
Okay.
With the biggest, most insincere smile I have. It's the smile I give all my patients. And just, I'm not very good at that. If there's one part of my practice I'm not great at, it's my bedside manner. But I'm trying to improve. Madam, you seem to be the person in charge here. I am looking to get a room for myself and my companions.
I don't do that. Those guys do that.
Oh, those gentlemen right there?
Yeah, the guys that work here.
Thank you very much for your hospitality, madam. I will go inquire with them.
Yeah. She says nothing further unless you're going to hang around.
No, that's beautiful. It's perfect.
All right.
Message received.
Where the fuck am I picturing is her?
I don't know who you're thinking of, but
no, I'm looking it up because it is Anne Ramsey.
Okay, I'm gonna Google that.
Ma
name.
Fratelli
That's familiar.
from the
Oh yeah, for sure. But more so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
You guys, well, Isaac, you kind of go upstairs and get a room and everything. Clar and Ada, and maybe Isaac as well before you leave. Also notice that these two guys around here, they're sort of watching the room from the opposite side from where the godmother is. And you actually, as Justina starts to come back with your drinks, a couple of sailors start harassing her and trying to grab her. Oscar tries to intervene, but not physically. He tries to like talk them down and put himself between, and that does not go well. They start pushing him back. And the next thing that happens is these two guys walk over, grab both Oscar and the two sailors and drag them outside and toss them out of the inn.
And a quick point of reference, which brother is missing?
Paul is the one that's missing.
Okay.
All right, so this must be
Pete and
I'm assuming
Pace.
Pete and Pace.
And
Yeah.
Pete and Pace.
Were you to ask Oscar about it, he could confirm that for you, or Justina. But yeah, this is Pete and Pace.
Okay, and does anyone else, I'm going to look around the room just nonchalantly, does anyone else seem to be paying attention to us? Or glaring daggers, or, you know...
No,
feigning
not
any type of
really.
interest. Okay, that's good. I like that.
You guys have not done anything to draw anyone's attention. All you've done is talk to one waitress, and that's it. So no one's paying any attention.
give us
I just
time.
thought maybe we stuck out like a sore thumb.
But we do. I expect we do.
Yeah.
Because the crowd here doesn't really care until we make them care.
Exactly. And like I said, it's so busy. Like, even though almost everyone is like blue collar labor and dressed like it, there still is the occasional other person, like a captain or an officer or something. And so it's not that weird to have three people who look like they don't belong.
Okay.
I would like to take the opportunity to approach the two of them and thank them for protecting the young lady. Gentlemen, thank you. My name is Clar Nordenberg, Captain Clar Nordenberg. I would like to thank you for stepping in and protecting that young lady from the rabble.
Oh, it's our job. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. And who might you fine gentlemen be?
These guys, by the way, they're in their like 50s.
Okay.
And
so they're a little older than I am then.
yeah, they're obviously, you can tell from the drawing, they're heavy set. They're in their 50s. They have bad teeth. Dressed in work clothes like most people in here. And one of them says, "I'm Pete. This is Pace." And the other one says, "I'm Pace."
And he's Pete.
Yeah.
Well, it is nice to meet you. And again, thank you. And I know you're just doing your job, but yes, I would have hate to have stepped in to. It may have caused trouble if I had gotten involved.
Yeah, you can't fight in here.
That's good to know. I appreciate that. I'm not looking for trouble, but when it's harassing a young woman like that, it's kind of very difficult not to get involved. I'm glad you stepped in. Okay.
Oh, yeah, Justina works here.
She's your friend as well? Not just a co-worker?
Yeah. Clar, these guys are dumb.
Okay.
They are rock stupid. They've got nothing upstairs.
Yeah.
Am I within earshot of this conversation?
To be in earshot, you'd have to be very close because it's a loud room.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to say that when Clark got up, I got up.
Okay.
but not necessarily with Clar. Just kind of perusing the room, taking a look at things,
Sure.
Yeah, I'm just sizing them up, basically.
Yeah, they're big, they're strong, they're dumb. They tend to repeat what their family members say, as you just witnessed. And they are, polite, but they don't have much to offer you in the way of conversation.
And they don't seem like they would be smart enough to start a large enterprise and become wealthy.
I would like to slip them some coinage and it's like, again, appreciate you keeping an eye on the young lady, but if you could possibly keep an eye open for any suspicious others that you could maybe report to us about.
One of them will look around and point over to Ada.
Yes, she is very suspicious. Unfortunately, she is one of my friends. We did arrive here together.
Point at me.
She doesn't look like a sailor.
Oh, she's most definitely. She's a herbalist doctor.
A doctor, midwife. Yes.
Yeah, yeah. She's a doctor and deliverer of babies. She is no sailor, and I am a seasoned captain from the battles. Unfortunately, I've had to slay many enemies, but all for a good cause.
Pace is gonna walk away, just without saying anything. Just walk away over to Ada, stop in front of you, and say, "My tooth hurts."
Oh, does it now? Would you like to go somewhere so I could take a look at it, or would you like me to look at it here? I would need a little bit more light, I think. Maybe I can help you with that.
I can't leave here.
Okay.
Do you have
something? Could we possibly head over to more of the light by the bar, and I could look inside your mouth?
Yeah, he'll go over there and open his mouth. It smells awful. This man hasn't brushed his teeth ever.
I still have my scarf.
Yeah. Yeah, which is probably why he pointed at you.
So my scarf, and I'm gonna pull out. I have like this magnifier type thing in my medical bag, and I am going to grab. Maybe do they have like lanterns or any type, or what kind of lighting do they have?
You know what? There can just be a window right here. It's fine.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Well. So I'm going to look into his mouth. What do I see?
Swollen, infected gums all around. The one he's pointing at, the tooth he's pointing at, is mostly gone. It's decayed.
Oh yes. The only thing I can see. Which one is this?
This is Pace. Well, he didn't tell you, actually, so you don't know.
Sir, what is your name?
Pace.
Pace, I think the only way I could relieve your pain is to remove that tooth. That is something that I can do for you. It wouldn't take very long at all.
You can't fix it?
I don't think I can fix it, no. It is, most of the tooth itself seems to have disappeared, and it's just your roots are being exposed from, you must have had an accident or something where it's broken off. I don't want to mention that his teeth are fucking disgusting.
It came off in a fish last week. A part of it.
Oh, and a fish, yeah, that can happen. Fish can be tricky little things.
Well, sometimes the little bones sometimes, yeah.
Yeah. Would you like me to remove that tooth for you? I
okay.
Probably shouldn't do it here where they're serving food.
Well, why not?
Well, there could be a little bit of blood. We might have been somebody who's trying to maybe sensitive to blood or teeth.
He's gonna look. He's gonna look around. There's like
sailors might be against the blood.
There's like 3 people already bleeding in the room. he's gonna look back and say,
right, you know,
"I'll just
you've
swallow it."
convinced me. No,
Yeah.
you've convinced me. I can do that for you now. I'm gonna pull out. I've got these gross, clampy looking things that will just pull that tooth right out of there. It looks
Okay.
pretty barbaric, you know, how the old teeth instruments are with the gnarls, and I'm just gonna reach in there with the pliers and
It's like
just open your
1901
mouth
dentistry.
and-
You're fine. Yeah, you can yank the tooth right out. It actually breaks into more pieces as you get it out. And there is some blood, but he's just like,
Now how does that feel now? Does that seem to help a little bit?
hurts.
Well, it's going to hurt for a bit, but do you have the same type of pain?
No, different.
Different pain. This pain will go away.
Abella is suddenly behind you, still holding the shotgun. Just, Pegs, back to work. Watch the room.
It was nice to meet you, Pace.
You stop
I hope that
distracting
you're
him.
feeling better soon as he walks away, probably.
Yeah, he walks back to Pete. Abella's looking at you now, Eddie. So you stop distracting them. They got jobs to do.
Oh, of course, ma'am. I was just trying to help.
Yeah, help somewhere else. She walks over to back to her little barrel and sits on it.
And I now have these tongs. I'm not about to put them back in my medical bag. So I'm going to...
Yeah,
What's
Pete?
that?
Wipe
What'd you
your napkin.
Pardon?
Sorry, you keep dipping.
Wipe
Me?
them off with a napkin.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I was going to walk to the bar and ask if they had a rag I could have.
Yeah, actually, I was about to say Pace had grabbed a bar rag and stuffed it in his mouth to stop the bleeding. And they will let you have another one, I guess.
Yeah, and I'm going to wrap that up as much as I can and put it securely but farther away from the rest of my medical equipment and
All right.
reapply some of the stuff to my scarf and go back to Clar.
So let's take a look at your room up there, Isaac. It's
A
not-
guest room.
It's a guest room. It's one of the guest rooms.
Oh, my
Um,
goodness.
You were just getting one room, right, for everybody?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, there's nothing significant up there. Like I said, you can see the other guest rooms. I think you probably will get the big one in the corner since
Yeah.
you got 3 people. You can guess which other rooms are bedrooms for the employees, just sort of based on the better quality doors and the sturdier looking locks. But there is nothing else of note in the guest room upstairs.
Is there anyone milling about up on this level?
Not milling about. You do see the occasional person coming and going from their room. But they go, right downstairs or right back to their room.
All right. Well,
And that
You know,
central square thing is, I guess, the chimney.
that fits.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm. I got our room. Got whatever stuff in it I got.
Yeah.
I think going back down, and I think I'm gonna try some of the local drinking culture.
All right. Well, you guys can get some drinks. And I don't know what your next move is going to be, but we can find out in 10 minutes when we come back from our break.
Perfect.
Thanks everyone for watching. We'll be back in 10 more minutes to continue pursuing the mystery of some priest who got shot. Welcome back. You guys are having drinks in the dining room, I suppose.
Yep, we're or at least Isaac is trying this aquavit.
Yeah. Misery informs us that it is distilled from potatoes, similar to vodka.
Oh yeah, it's distilled from grain or potatoes, and is flavored with a variety of spices and herbs. I pulled up the wiki article on it like right away.
To see what you were drinking.
Yeah, well, no, like when
Jet
it first
fuel.
came up, I'm like, this is a booze of some stripe. I'm curious what it is, and it's a whole thing.
It is
There
indeed a whole thing. Yeah, you guys get this aquavit. It's definitely a booze. There's also beer available for those who don't want hard drinks. Do you have anything that you want to do at this point? Or do you want to discuss plans?
Well, I was thinking we could discuss plans real quick, and then possibly act on those plans.
Interesting.
I was thinking
idea.
about checking on the vicar to see how he's doing after being thrown out, basically, too.
The dead vicar?
No,
the younger priest,
Oscar.
yeah.
yeah,
Oh,
The younger priest.
Yeah,
I'm
Oscar.
curious as well.
Udengrin. Just to check on him to make sure he's okay.
well, I'm curious. I'm also interested, like just bringing up between the three of us, like, there's not a lot to this place. You know, this isn't like this isn't a small fishing village. This is like a port.
Yep.
With a warehouse, and people come here for stuff to do business, but there ain't really. It doesn't seem like there's a lot of people who live here.
Yeah, just
So, my thought is, we should hit up this. We should maybe hit up this common room and talk to people. Maybe ingratiate ourselves a little bit. Possibly we could Steve, what kind of topography is this island?
Oh, there's a question.
I mean, I'm looking at it on Google. I'm looking at the area on Google Maps,
Mhm.
and it looks fairly rocky.
Yeah.
Um,
I was going to
But-
say, it took me a minute to remember reading this in the book. All the islands around here are granite, basically. It's a
okay.
bunch of rock.
But if they're like, I'm thinking maybe if there is just anywhere we could look around on the island that's not directly like this encampment,
Mm.
that might be a thing to explore. Not
Possibly
so
the
much,
beaches.
I was thinking maybe a little more inland, but I'm also not entirely sure how much inland there is, or at least how much accessible inland there is.
Yeah.
That's me, the player, not being entirely sure.
Yeah, not a ton.
But
But you continue. I'm going to get some information.
yeah,
For you.
I'm just trying to get out my thoughts, and yeah, no, like the beaches would be good, or the beach. Maybe try and, I when I say sneak around the warehouse a bit, it sounds kind of untoward, but get a look around the warehouse, just try and get an idea of what the fuck we're doing here. like I feel like this guy's called us in as PI, as like private dicks,
Mm-hmm.
and that's not not really our purview. Okay.
Right. I agree with that. That it's not real. We're not really investigators for murder mysteries, not necessarily. But I also would like to see uninhabited parts of the island.
Oh, look at that!
At what?
It's there.
Uh-huh.
That fucking warehouse is right there.
Oh, the warehouse is real?
Yes. Yes.
Oh, that's funny. I
Like, I'm
didn't
like,
have it.
oh,
Okay.
yeah, no, it's like it looks kind of yellow. It's got that same roof.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, it looks like there's like 5 buildings on this island now.
Yeah.
Sorry, that was like I found the island. And I was like, okay, that's the island, and I zoomed in a little bit. I went, oh, that's the warehouse. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. It's pretty crazy. They use these real locations all the time in this game.
That was cool. Yeah, it looks like
That
it's
is quite the cluster.
Oh, yeah, I have located it. Yeah, those 3 buildings are still there, and there's a couple more now. So, yeah, I don't know if Mia or Patty has bothered looking up on the Google Maps like we did, but...
Yeah, I've got it open
no.
right now. Mhm.
Yeah,
I did
so
not.
as you can see if you're looking at it, it is mostly just bare rock. There's some plant life growing on it. It's sparse and low. There is a sort of like... a sort of flat area back away from...
like a little south.
Yeah, a little south of everything else. A little south of the buildings.
Yeah, the island's only like 1,500 feet across.
Oh yeah, like fucking tiny.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah,
Oh,
but
there are other buildings.
the rest of these islands are also kind of... They also see traffic. They're kind of in use. Like there's the occasional house on one of them, that kind of thing. So...
Yeah.
But yeah, with Wrecker Isle being the sort of like important one and only being 1,500 feet across, you can see what I meant about this whole archipelago is kind of considered part of Fjallbacka. It's
Yeah. Because
yeah.
my
So,
thought is, I mean, we deal with Vaesen. We deal with, weirder shit than my coworker got, or my mentor got murdered, maybe, and can you solve that crime for me? But maybe there is something Vaesen-y going on out here.
Well, I want to say that the gentleman that I interacted with do not seem like any type of a mastermind.
Guy you interacted with?
Correct.
Pace.
Tooth.
Do you point him out?
Pete and Pace.
yeah.
Pete and Pace, I pointed them out to you, and I said, I removed that gentleman's tooth if you did not get a chance to notice, and they do not seem to be the sharpest tool in the
They
ship.
look incredibly feeble-minded.
Like a couple of rounded river stones. They're definitely not sharp.
Yes.
But getting maybe we should talk to some people here. Maybe talk to some people on the dock. Like take a look inland. Like we're not really in any danger right now. So I mean, it seems like something we could kind of montage around.
What kind of questions do you think we should start asking? Because I mean, really, the priest just said that there was evil afoot.
Yeah, well, that guy seems to think everyone here is in league with the devil, or at least the Christian devil.
Correct.
And I don't but I mean,
Not sure I get that feeling. I feel like these are just rough-necked
yeah,
sailors.
these are fucking folk. And getting a broader lay of the land would perhaps give us a little more depth to our sight with regards to what's going on here.
Right, and I would like an opportunity to try to use our sight.
About the missing Pete.
Or Paul.
Wait, was it Paul?
Paul's the missing one. Yeah.
Missing Paul.
Paul's the missing brother.
We can inquire after Paul. We can ask just ask people in general about. Pardon me. Isaac pulls out his little flippy notebook about Carl Eric. I mean, not like, oh, did you know him? Where did you last see him? But get a differently biased view on what he was doing here.
Yeah. Because I feel like preaching the word of God doesn't seem like a death offense necessarily.
I mean, if you wanted to touch base with the young Oscar, I don't see him around anymore. But I mean, he came with us, so I'm assuming he's going to leave with us.
While you guys are talking, an old drunken man, extremely drunk, by the way, looks like this. That's him there. Let me get some of these other people out of the way so you can see him better. This guy smells like booze, looks like booze, carrying booze, staggers over to you guys, sort of leans in way too close, shakes a finger at all of your faces. Says, if you value your lives, you should leave this island as soon as you can. The sea gives, and the sea takes away. Soon it'll take you too if you're not careful. The new moon is almost here. And he's just a disaster.
My apologies, sir. Would you say this town has a death curse?
That is something. Curse death.
Would your name be Ralph, sir?
Orvar. It's almost a new moon. He's gonna sort of stagger down, land on a bench like next to where you're sitting. And I'd like an observation test from everyone, please.
Let's see. That is my sad little 2 dice.
Could be worse.
I rolled a 5 as my highest, so nope.
I did not succeed.
I got 1 success.
Oh, you did?
Yes.
So with that observation test success, you are a doctor. You've seen people drunken and otherwise intoxicated many, many times. You know how things go with people, and you kind of know how to read people even when they're inebriated. He is telling the truth, and whatever it is he's trying to warn you about, he is sincere. But he is also way too drunk to continue the conversation.
Oh, most definitely.
Yeah.
So the new moon is almost here. Interesting.
Does the new moon coincide with the disappearance of, or the apparent disappearing, the time that our vicar disappeared, excuse me, as I struggle with that?
Orvar is now snoring.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, he's probably not the loudest thing in the room.
He's close.
I'm sure he's working at it.
Yeah.
But
So-
as Clar noted, would Carl's death have come along or occurred near a previous new moon?
Yeah, roughly.
Based on the information that Oscar gave you about his disappearance, if the new moon is close, and it calls for a test on this, but it's stupid. You guys know the new moon is tomorrow. It is something anyone could look up and see, so I don't know why you'd have to roll for it. But if the new moon is tomorrow, it does seem like he would have disappeared around the time of the last one.
Roughly. Okay.
And do we know anything about the Vaesen that would coincide with the new moon? As much research as we have, and just trying to put two and two together. Do we have enough information? Do we recall anything that we've read that would associate a Vaesen with the new moon, or a ritual, or anything like that?
I will ask for a learning test just from Ada.
Let's see. Learning test from me, which would be
Plus your 1 with the books you got earlier. Yeah.
Well, that's a one. That's a single use. So you can
That's a
decide
single
whether to
use.
use it
Okay.
now or not. Well, no, I'm sorry. The books you got earlier are not single use, but the advantage you gave yourself on learning, that is.
right. So I'll use the book, but I won't use my advantage just yet. But I have to grab more dice. I wasn't prepared for such a high roll. I'm gonna roll 8 dice.
Ooh.
It's like Ada, you seem to be like you've got something on your mind. Do you have any insight as to what might be going on in regards to the new moon?
Well, I do a lot of reading and I've done a lot of research, and I've got 3 successes.
3 of them.
3.
You seem to have come to a conclusion that may be helpful.
Yeah. So when
Well-
thinking about Vaesen that fit the circumstances that you have discovered here, a new moon, an island area, ocean industry, and an intense odor. You are reminded of old folk tales about mermaids. It is said that they rule over the seas and the creatures that live in the depths. If it happens that a fisherman catches a mermaid child in their nets, that child can be raised as a human. Such sea children, raised as humans, never stop longing for the sea, often growing up to become excellent swimmers and fishermen. Now, you got 3 successes. So I'm giving you information you're not supposed to get until later. So because there's an event that hasn't happened yet that should have happened, but you have enough information to already know this stuff, I think. So especially with your books and the specific question that you asked about the new moon. The second success will provide you with seafarers often say that it is wise to give offerings to mermaids. She can repay an offering with favorable winds or a huge catch of fish. She can punish those who fail to give her what she wants by sending storms or placing icebergs in their path. And some mermaids require human sacrifices, which often are said to be required at the new moon.
Okay.
So those who throw the wrong things into the sea may have their ship attacked by giant sea monsters. And mermaids can also enchant humans with their song. With your third success, I'm going to say that one gives you nothing because of the information you lack. But you have not witnessed much. As you guys have discussed several times, there is not much here that points you to a Vaesen. But hearing it now from Oscar and from this drunken guy, Orvar, something about a new moon. And if you are to believe Oscar's ramblings, I guess you would say, about the people just feeling wrong, about the Amundsens being wreckers who would murder people that they found. And you yourself, I forget whether it was Ada or Klar who asked, did the death of Zacharias' father maybe constitute a human sacrifice of some kind?
That was mine.
Yeah, all of these ideas kind of already swirling around in your head. The smell part as well is because these mermaid children raised as human may often smell like the sea. And so if he wanted to not be detected, one might seek out a life around an overpowering stench.
Correct. And I did meet the brothers, and they did stink. But
Yeah,
I would say they didn't smell like the sea.
that's right.
They smelled more like rotted teeth and unwashed bodies and other things. And I'm going to share all this information with you about my theories and, you know, how kind of far-fetched they are, but that they kind of fit together in the direction of this could be a Vaesen. This could be mermaids associated with sacrifices of people. New moons. I mean, this guy seemed pretty sincere and pretty scared, even though he's intoxicated. Being a doctor myself, I've seen many intoxicated people and can observe that this guy was telling the truth as sloppily as he possibly could. And there is still a missing brother that we have not met. And possibly the father being disposed of, killed rather, by one of his young. And then they became wealthy. I mean, these don't seem like masterminds. They don't seem like people who could build wealth out of nothing.
Well, we have yet to meet Zacharias.
Which one is Zacharias?
Zacharias is the Herring Baron.
Yeah. We haven't met him yet.
The Herring Baron. And who's he related to?
He's the godmother's son and the younger brother of the two idiots, of Tweedledee and Tweedledum here.
Yeah.
So I assume that Paul, Pace, and Peter were all like triplets then, right?
No, Paul was the oldest.
Okay.
They're close in age, but they're not twins or triplets.
Okay.
They just
So
they're
Paul,
just adjacently ugly.
Paul,
Yeah.
Pete, and Pace, and then Zacharias.
That's correct.
And Zacharias would be the oldest or the youngest of the...
Youngest.
Zacharias is the youngest, and he is the one who is rumored to have killed their father.
Okay.
Oh, I wonder if it was just his father.
You never know.
Or maybe he has something to do with the vicar's death as well.
Everything has something to do with everything, if you think hard enough.
Well, yes.
Let's just jump to a bunch of conclusions, and he wants some more. He would like to try and find more information before he expresses these conclusions.
Well, not for nothing, but you guys are in a room full of people that you've talked to maybe 3 of.
Yeah. Well,
So does anyone in this room stick out other than Mama? And, I mean, is there...
I will say this. If you would like to speak to any of the named characters that you've already met, we can role play that. If you want to sort of mingle and just sort of try and get information from the crowd here, we'll do that with a roll.
Okay.
let's
Yeah, I
mingle.
was thinking
I want
there's
to mingle.
here we should mingle.
Okay. 1 second, sorry.
As Clar awkwardly tries to mingle,
Yeah,
we shall see. We shall see.
I'm just trying to decide what's the best skill for this. Probably going to be I just had it in my brain. Probably going to be inspiration or perhaps investigation. But I feel like investigation is more like finding clues and reasoning them out.
Yeah, investigation's going to be is like specifically called out, like searching a room, understanding what happened at a crime scene.
Big jar that was here.
Yeah, I think in trying to get people to do things like tell you something feels like inspiration to me.
Well,
Yeah, thoughts?
I mean, I would honestly try to. I'm trying to work up an argument for manipulation or observation.
Yeah, I was thinking manipulation too.
Not just because inspiration is one of my worst abilities, but because inspiration seems more about inspiring people.
Yeah, deceiving or persuading is manipulation. Yeah.
I would accept manipulation for sure.
And yeah,
I was thinking of it. To be honest, I was looking at a different system like yesterday, where manipulation meant physical manipulation with your hands, and so I was thinking of it that way. But it does say that that's an empathy skill, so yes, definitely, it's manipulation of people.
An observation, because having conversation, you're observing, mannerisms.
Observation, you're talking to another person, spending time in their presence.
Yep.
And you use that to understand what they're thinking, feeling, or planning.
So any of those three are fine with me, whichever you each want to roll.
I'll roll for observation.
Okay.
Manipulation.
Yeah, I'm going to go with manipulation as well, because Isaac is trying to kind of push people conversationally in directions that relate to what we're here for.
All right.
I failed, so I don't know if I tick someone off by trying to manipulate them or what.
I got one success.
And what were you rolling? Observation?
Yes, observation.
Okay. You notice... I'm going to read some clues to myself here and decide which one fits observation the best. You notice that Pete has a revolver tucked into his belt. And Pace has a gold pocket watch in the pocket of his vest. You can see the chain hanging out. That latter, in particular, seems out of character, considering the coarse, rough workman's clothing they're both dressed in.
Seems strange, yes. The revolver, not necessarily, but the gold watch seems interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Do you report that to us there, Ada?
I'm going to mention it to you real quickly, and then I'm going to approach him and ask him if he could tell me the time.
Yeah, that, and then as part of that, I'm like, well, the gun, maybe our junior priest knows what the vicar's gun looked like, and he can identify it by a description we give.
Unfortunately, that man has been thrown out of the place already.
He has, yeah. I did check on him, so I don't know where he went. Back to the boat, I assume.
Oh, if you popped your head out, yeah, he was just sort of wandering around talking to people.
Okay, I can find him later.
Yeah. Yeah, so what do you say? You ask him what time it is, Ada?
I'd ask him if he could tell me the time.
He looks at the window and says, "Afternoon."
And I will say, "Sir, I couldn't help but notice you have a beautiful looking chain attached to what seems to be a watch.
It's broken.
Is it? I kind of have a knack for these kind of things. May I look at it?"
He's going to just put a hand on you, turn you around, and push you away.
Okay.
He's like, no.
Fair enough.
And Isaac, what did you roll? Did you get a success on
No
anything?
successes.
No successes. Okay.
That would have been good.
So without any successes, there are a couple more pieces of information you guys can get out of anyone who's been around. One, you can confirm that the vicar did disappear about a month ago, that he was in the tavern about a month ago, and then had an argument with Abella and the Herring Baron himself before being thrown out by Paul, Pete, and Pace. All three of them were here at that time. The vicar did swear he'd return later. And then later that night, there was some kind of argument heard outside. So those are things you can get kind of from anyone without having to roll for it. Let's see, what else can you find here? Yeah, as you already reasoned out, Paul's disappearance was around the same time as the vicar's visit. And everyone at the inn knows this drunken guy, Orvar. In fact, a couple people ask if you're going to take care of him, since he was talking to you. Everyone knows he lives in the cabin over on Graveyard Isle. He's a regular at the inn. He's kind of the local oddball that everyone just sort of like knows and appreciates. He's old and he's been here forever. He's lived in this area in the archipelago longer than anyone.
So I'm going to suggest that possibly we keep an eye on, agree to take care of this fellow, and maybe we can get him sober enough at some point to get more information out of him. We don't necessarily have to keep him in our room. But if he lives nearby, maybe we can, Yeah,
his house is on a different island. But you do kind of get the impression that take care of him implies at some point taking him home.
Or getting him home in some way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Could toss him into the ocean and sober him up. If you're so inclined, Ada.
Well, I would lead your muscle to do such a thing, I think.
I don't want to offend him.
No, I don't want to offend him either. Maybe we could do less aggressive approach and possibly ask for some coffee. Give it time. Maybe leave him here in the booth while we go explore outside.
Okay.
I think I want to make my way over to the fishery, though, the warehouse myself.
Right. That's what I mean, because we were going to go explore outside, and I don't really want to have a burden baby to babysit while we are exploring. So maybe if we leave him asleep in this booth, he'll be here when we return. Hopefully.
Yeah, it's not so much a booth. It's just an open table situation.
He's just asleep in the chair on the table.
Yeah. I think I said bench earlier, but either way, he's just sort of passed out, collapsed against the table.
Perfect. With our medical expertise and our history of drinking ourselves, we can tell you'll be out for a while. Maybe?
Yeah, so are you guys heading out to the warehouse? Is that what I heard?
You know, if you two like hit up the warehouse, I kind of want to find Oscar.
Okay.
Because I want to find out if Oscar has an idea of where they found the old vicar's body.
You can know that already from what he said before. I think it was in the letter. If it wasn't specific enough there, he could have told you. The priest's body washed up on the shore at Fialbaca.
That's quite
Okay.
Yeah.
quite the weird currents to carrying that far. But yeah.
Yeah.
But it was like days after he went missing.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. Okay. Okay. Then yeah, I think. Well, while you both check out the fishery, the warehouse, I want to try and just hunt around the. I mean, this island is not big, and there's not a ton of habitable space on it. And I kind of want to just poke around that space a bunch, just play naturalist for a bit.
Okay.
See if there's anything interesting I can find.
Okay. And we can head to the warehouse.
Yeah, I want to, if I bump into anybody of authority, I want to pretend to be an investor. So.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Yeah, let's start with Isaac. You're wandering this island.
Yeah.
Are you looking for anything specific?
I wish I were looking for something specific.
Okay.
We have a hunch, and you know, is my friend Johansson still kicking around here?
Justina?
No, Johansson.
Oh, your captain,
friend.
Captain Johansson. Yeah, he's still over by his boat, wheeling and dealing out there.
Yeah, I'm thinking I want to hit him up and see if he knows of any just places of interest or hidden coves or anything like that in the surrounding area.
I'm gonna do a quick roll myself. Yeah, I'm gonna say if you want to do a roll about it, he can give you a +1 for it. It is observation or investigation, either one.
Well, I'd much rather it be investigation than observation.
Okay.
Is this going to use my advantage with him?
Yes.
But I'm only getting +1?
Well, you don't have to do your advantage. Like, you can roll it
that's
anyway.
what I'm saying. Are you counting this as my advantage?
No.
For the +1.
If you use the +1, then a yes. If you choose not to use it, then no.
Okay, then I'm not going to use it.
Okay.
Because I still might want to use him for something else. Wow. 4, 6, 7 dice. And I got 1 success.
Woohoo.
Okay. He tells you about an island that's not on the maps. That people have heard tell of, but nobody goes near it. It's called the Deep Reef.
Deep Reef?
Yeah, it's twice as far out in the deep waters as the Weather Islands, by the outer edge of the archipelago. So let me show you those. Bring the map back. So you've got the farthest out islands on the map here. The deep reef is twice as far as that. And he says nobody goes out there. There are odd tales, rumors about it. Yeah, he says that a lot of times when people try to go there, there's weather that prevents them from arriving. And there are rumors that there are some sort of creatures that live out there.
You don't say.
But he kind of shrugs that off. He's like, yeah, sailors tell stories.
Yeah, you're a rational man.
I don't know what that means, but sailors tell stories.
That they do, sir. That they do. Do you think you could get out there?
I could.
If need be.
Weather permitting.
Fair enough. Well, not right now.
Okay.
But,
well, maybe.
Yeah.
Not for free. It's obviously out of my way, but maybe we can.
Yeah, no, we could work something out, my friend.
Isaac, as you're standing here talking to Johansson, the edges of your vision start to go a little bit black, like when you stand up too fast. And you see, as you're looking at Johansson, the people behind him on the other boats and on the pier behind him, they start to like twist and warp in your vision a little bit. Some tentacles start to come out of their mouths, their eyes a little, and you see something writhing under the surface of the water.
Ooh. Did you feel that?
I did fart.
The been it.
Oh, I don't know what you mean. Look, I got to get back to work.
My friend, if I need you, I will call on you.
All right, good luck, Doc.
Appreciated.
You know, you probably saved this guy's wife or something at some point. She had a bout of hysteria.
Oh, great.
I mean, you know how women be. Women
Yeah.
always be hysteria.
Yeah.
And you have the perfect treatment for it as well.
Yeah, I perform stereorectomies.
Drugs. Yeah. So
That too.
yeah. So that vision does pass. But you notice that even as you walk away, you don't feel quite like yourself anymore. Something's a little different. Something's a little off. Clara and Ada, you guys are heading to the warehouse, yeah?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So during the day, the warehouse is just a hub of feverish activity. There are hustling and bustlings all around it. Out back, there is train oil being cooked in 3 large cauldrons and herring being salted in countless barrels inside. You can sort of see in through the big doors that are open. It's very cramped in there, just barrel after barrel.
Nothing seems unusual here for a fishery.
Especially for one that's so prosperous.
You are getting close enough to this place that the smell is starting to overcome you. I believe that it is reasonable that you would get a sense of this before it becomes too late. You're going, in order to go to the warehouse and like actually go up to it or inside of it, you're going to have to pass a force test. And if you fail that test, you will take a condition. That's how bad the smell is.
And I've got my scarf, and I'm like, oh,
Yeah, that's pretty
Lord,
foul.
this I'm not feeling the greatest. The smell is otherworldly. It's so bad.
I feel if we push on it may not feel well later, but I still want to get a good look inside. So if you'll wait here, I can take a look. So I'll
Ada,
push on.
Are you going to wait or are you going to go with him?
Yeah,
Well, you
force
said I'd
is-
have to do like a force check, which is
Yeah.
physique. Mhm. 2 successes.
Okay,
which
Clara.
is physique. So I'm
Finally
going to
got
not
a
die.
success.
I'm going to stay back.
Okay, Ada is overcome by the stench and doesn't push it. Clar is able to muscle through. Being a soldier, he's probably... Being a soldier and a druggie, he's used to terrible smells. Yeah, so you are able, Clar, to get up to the warehouse. With the amount of hustle and bustle that's going on, nobody bothers stopping you.
So yeah, I dodge the workers. I'm just gonna look around if there's any like an office or a supervisor, someone that appears to be in said role.
There is a guy, yeah, who seems to
Like
be
a
running
foreman.
the show.
Yeah.
He doesn't really have an office, but he's, people are coming to him with reports and stuff and questions, and he's barking orders at people.
All right. So I will head for that guy.
Yes.
Oh yes. Excuse me, sir. I apologize. I know you are quite busy, but this business seems to be booming. Is there any chance someone such as myself can get in on this as an investor?
An investor? No, we're not.
Yes.
You'd have to talk to Zacharias about that. As far as I know, he's not open to selling off any part of his business.
Is he here on the premises with you or somewhere else?
Oh, he's not. He's not at the warehouse right now. He might be at his house.
Well, I am curious, though, that the smell here is quite overwhelming, far more than I've experienced at other such facilities.
That's herring. That's train oil. You get used to it.
I certainly am having feeling a little woozy here, but
Well,
is there any way you... Sorry, go ahead.
yeah, I don't know what to tell you other than maybe this isn't the place for you.
Oh, all right, well, I guess I'll go try and find him and see what he has to say, but...
All right. Are you leaving, or did you want to do anything else here in the warehouse? You are still not being stopped from anything you want to...
I kind of do want to poke around, see if there's anything that just seems out of place at all. Again, not exactly my forte, but...
When you say poke around, do you mean just sort of like watch or look at the barrels, or do you want to actually like go sleuthing here?
Sleuthing without being too obvious about it.
All right. I'll say give me a vigilance test.
Yeah, that's not going to be great. At least I have something in that. That's 4 dice. Well, here we go. We're hitting it 2 6s and 2 5s.
Okay.
Starting to hit it.
So as you're sort of poking around, you do notice there is a space between a few barrels where like the barrels are packed together pretty tightly in here, and it seems odd that in this one spot there's just a little bit of extra space between them. Going over there in a secluded corner, you find a pendant, a crucifix pendant.
Hmm.
And near that, there is a dark stain on the floor. You will need an investigation or medicine test to identify that stain.
Yeah, I want to take a quick look at it.
Even though I obviously just told you what it is by saying it takes a medicine test.
I just say it as a player. I'm like, oh, it's blood.
Yeah.
But you said an investigation check.
Yeah, or medicine.
Yeah, that's not going to be great either way. Do I have to say I'll push this before I roll, or can I do that after? I think you have to do it before,
after.
right?
No,
Okay.
you can fail and then push.
All right, I'm going to push.
Okay.
And as a quick reminder, that's 2 additional dice?
Yeah, isn't it? I think it is.
I've got that rule here. Pushing
Yeah, I believe
roll.
so.
Choose to muster the only immediate. When pushing a roll, you suffer a condition. Yeah, let me roll 2 more then. All right, well, that's that. I think the smell is starting to overwhelm me. I get down to take a look. I'm like, I think that looks like, but I can't be sure. And this could be from anything.
You are meant to choose your own condition. I would recommend exhaustion because that's the one you would have gotten if you'd failed the force test before approaching.
Sure, that works. I know pushing a mental stat, would that not be more? No, okay. I'll take it. Exhaustion then.
Yeah. Yeah, I
Just
guess
to-
it normally would be a mental one, but yeah.
But let's go with the exhaustion because, yeah, I'm definitely feeling the effects of the smell. And at least I found this, and I quickly pick up that pendant and stuff it into my pocket.
All right. Will you then return to Ada?
Yes, I need to get some fresh air really quickly.
Well, you won't get fresh air, but you can at least get fresher air.
Fresher air, yeah. Holy crap, the cats have got the zoomies. You know, calm down back there. Okay.
And
Go
go ahead.
Go ahead. I was going to say, as soon as I get outside to find her, I'm just like, oh, yeah, I cannot believe how awful it smells in there. But, and I don't know. I'm just like, I'm going to have to sit down for a little while, maybe even, I don't know. But look, and I'm going to pull that out. And I found this inside near a stain on the floor that I couldn't identify.
A crucifix. And you said there was a stain.
Yeah, a dark stain. I mean, I could have been anything, and the light, and my head's woozy. It may have even just been some rust off of one of the barrels. I just don't know.
But it's still pretty suspicious. I mean, because it could have been blood, right? I mean, I know that you were feeling unwell, but it's not. You're not convinced it's not blood, right?
Again, I can't say, but I mean, it's possible.
So as you guys are discussing that, and Isaac, you're out on the pier here. You guys start to hear Oscar shouting. And looking over, you see that he is on top of a barrel at the end of the pier, shouting a sermon about how this place is of the devil and the Amundsons are the devil's servants.
Oh my gosh.
While you are watching, Clar approaching you and Ada compete and pace. And they will say, "You are invited to supper with Zacharias tonight."
Oh, it sounds lovely.
Pace is going to point to Oscar and say, "He's not."
I would expect not. He seems to be stirring up trouble here in your little village. if we can call it that.
You had 2 friends. You are all invited. And Isaac, while they are having that conversation, you being at a different angle, farther away, or far away from them, but closer to Oscar, you're there to see as Oscar is pelted with bottles and dead fish and forced to abandon his barrel.
Okay.
The crowd tries to beat him up, and he staggers out towards you.
Yeah, no, I mean, when I see him and he, like, recognize what he's doing, I would have immediately started moving towards him to try and pull him down from that barrel.
Okay. Yeah, that's reasonable.
To intercede and just be like, sir, you know, I'm not the most people of persons, but even I know you need to know your audience.
Yeah, let me have a quick agility test from you to see how quickly you can get to him and pull him down.
Ooh, let's see how bad this goes. That is a whopping 1, 2, 3 not successes.
Okay. In that case, it plays out like I said. You're still on your way over to him as he's staggering off. He has been hit in the head. He's a little woozy. But you're able to sort of drag him away. And I'll say that from here, you can see Clara and Ada now. So if you want to head towards them, you can.
Yeah, I'm gonna start dragging him with me towards them, whilst, you know, admonishing him for his aggressive prostitutization style.
Yeah, he's not in any physical condition to put up much of an argument.
No, he's not. So he can keep his mouth shut, and he can get a stern talking to for being that kind of a fucking bother.
Yeah. Clar, when Isaac and Oscar reach you, Oscar is going to suddenly straighten up a little bit and look down at the crucifix pendant in your hand. Where did you get that?
I found it inside the warehouse.
That was the vicar's. I recognize it easily.
I'm not surprised that it is at this point. If he drew the ire of the crowd as you just did, and he's been here more often, then I suspect that somebody may have taken him into that warehouse and knocked him over, so to speak. Knocked him off.
It was in the warehouse?
It was in the warehouse. In a secluded corner. And earlier as well, Ada noticed that one of the P brothers had a pistol. I don't know if she could describe it, and if you might be able to recognize it from description, if it was the vicar's as well.
You know, I would say that they're still not too far away, because they just invited you over.
Okay, well, I won't bring that up then.
I mean, you can talk, but I'm saying you could turn and point to them.
Yeah, I'll make that kind of like lean in quietly and mention that to him.
He will look at them. I don't know. It's hard to recognize a revolver tucked in a belt, but it might be his.
Did the vicar have a golden watch?
A pocket watch, yeah.
Because one of the brothers happens to have a broken one, or he claims it to be broken, but he wouldn't show it to me.
He will notice the gold chain. I know that you three have been skeptical of my claims about the Amundsens, but I trust the evidence is starting to sway you.
I also think that you should probably go onto the boat and no more trying to convert anyone tonight.
Roll a manipulation test on that.
For your safety and the safety of us, because we are here in your stead, are we not?
Go ahead and take a +1 for that last comment.
And I got 2 successes.
Okay. You've convinced him. He's going to head off to Captain Johansson and collapse in the boat.
Yeah, it's a good idea. We're definitely finding evidence that his senior was murdered, very possibly, in this very, very area.
At minimum, he was robbed and injured at some point.
Yeah. So is there anything you guys would like to do before going to supper later tonight?
But how much time do we have till supper?
I'll say 2 hours.
And how far, I will ask Isaac, how far did you get in your search of the island?
Not over far, but my friend, Captain Johannathan.
Johannathan, there we go.
So I actually wrote it down so I'd remember
I
it.
knew it
and
was
then-
some combination of Jonathan and Johansson, but I gave up trying to remember it.
mentioned that there's an unmapped island, the Deep Reef, that's maybe twice as far out to sea. Obviously, we did not go, but it might be a location worth keeping in mind.
Also,
Yep.
sorry, if we are leaning towards, and I'll whisper it to you, mermaids, maybe we should inspect the beaches.
You should inspect the beaches. Like, it looks like we still have a little bit of time before this supper we're being called to. I kind of want to try and talk to
Justina?
Orvar.
Orvar. Okay. The old guy.
The easiest way to talk to Orvar is going to be to sober him up. He's still unconscious in the inn. You do have time if you move to get him onto the boat and get him back to his own house out on that other island.
Okay. I would like to try and do that.
All right.
I'm torn. Now that I know that that is your plan, I don't know if I want to. Clara, what would you like to do?
In time for supper. Don't worry.
I will. If the two of you wish to go, I can hold down the fort, so to speak, here.
Okay.
I mean, mostly I want to get him sobered up a bit, because I want to ask him. I want to drill him about the secret, about the Deep Reef, what he try and tease out any mermaid thoughts, that kind of thing.
And I definitely still do want to check the beach, but I don't know if I want to search the beach or any part of this island alone.
So,
well, you've got Flar here.
There really isn't beach on this island in the sense of where sand meets water. The edge of this island is all rock.
That's what I assumed. It
Yeah.
would be all rock and cliffs and possibly caves.
Okay. Yeah, you can poke around there if you wish to.
Yeah, just a quick cruise. I don't want to spend 2 whole hours out there, but I would like to kind of peek, see if there's anything that sticks out.
All right.
Maybe the smell will get less if we get farther away, that kind of stuff.
Definitely getting farther from the pier and the warehouse will lessen the smell for sure.
I could use some fresh air.
Isaac and Captain Johannathan, you can haul up Orvar. In the time that you guys have been doing other things, Orvar has it started to sober up a little bit. He is used to this kind of thing, so he's gonna come to his senses a little faster than others might. If you are heading out towards his island, you are going to find that he is awake and able to talk about halfway back.
Okay.
And again, he's Graveyard Isle out here.
Yeah.
So he'll wake up, take a look at you. Well, who are you guys?
We're helping you get home. My name is Isaac. This is my friend, Captain Johannathan.
I'm Orvar. You guys aren't going back to Wrecker, are you?
At some point. Why shouldn't we?
Well, you know what happens to people.
I'm from far to the east. I don't know.
Well,
you should really spell that out for me.
well, around the new moon, there's always someone that disappears. And that's tomorrow. He's going to look confused for a second and then say, right?
I'm going to look a little confused for a second and inquire, is tonight the new moon, or is tomorrow night the new moon?
Oh, that depends on how drunk I was. I think it's tomorrow.
Let me rephrase that question to the GM.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
It's tomorrow night the new moon.
It's tomorrow night.
No, I am aware that there is some danger involved in this area beyond the general boating, fishing goings on. But my friend here was you seem like you are familiar and local.
Been around here longer than Zacharias.
How long has Zacharias been here?
Oh, some 40 years, maybe.
Really? Boy, and that was his mother back at the inn.
Well, not really.
Oh?
Hey, nobody talks about it. But they found him in the fucking ocean.
One of the wrecks that they salvaged from.
They got him in a fishing net. See, the Amundsons, they've always been herring fishers. They took to wrecking when the times was bad, you see. But they found old Zacharias as a little man, yay big, in a fishing net. We all heard about it at the time. Most of the people who lived around here then aren't around anymore, but I am.
Interesting.
Yeah. And I'll tell you another thing.
Please.
That mom, Abella, the godmother, she likes him more than she likes her own sons. Those three idiots. They never mean as much to her as Zacharias does.
They don't seem particularly capable.
Yeah, they don't seem to mind either.
They don't seem much at all. But
who is?
I figure I should still keep one eye open around them.
Oh, they are definitely not safe. Neither is their mother or their brother. I'll tell you this. these new moon disappearances, they're not unrelated.
No.
Every new moon, that herring baron and his family, they sail on out to the deep reef. This island way out. Nobody goes to. It's not on any charts. They go there every month. And every month, like clockwork, someone vanishes.
I share a look with my friend Johannathan.
He's smoking a pipe.
I bet he is.
Driving a boat.
And has anyone seen, has anyone seen Paul? Brother Paul recently?
Now that you mention it, no. I don't know where he is. I have been seeing Pete and Pace around without him, which is not usual.
And you know the old vicar?
Oh.
Or no, of the old vicar?
Yeah, he used to help me sometimes.
That's good. Would I mean, I know this is maybe asking a bit much, but would you say Paul went... Have you seen Paul since the vicar went missing? Pardon?
Sorry, you froze for a second, but it came through.
Oh. Would you say that have you seen Paul since the vicar went missing?
He's going to kind of furrow his brow. I'm not sure. I think no. I mean, that vicar's not missing. They found him.
Well, he was missing.
He was, yeah.
But don't worry about thinking too hard on that. That's just me. That's just me, jumping to conclusions.
Well, whatever you do, don't be on Wrecker Isle on the new moon, and don't head out to Deep Reef ever. That place is cursed.
Any particular curse?
Well, only people will go there is a sea child and his murderer family. Anyway, this is me up here on the right.
Yeah, I can't... I feel like there's more I want to ask, but...
You want to come in for some beans?
No, I appreciate it. Beans are good.
It's the only place around here you can get beans. Everyone else just eats herring.
But also, I'm expected for dinner tonight. So I want to be sure I don't offend anyone by not eating.
You're going to dinner where?
Apparently, my companions and I have an invitation to dine with the Amundsen's.
Oh, well, don't let them lock the doors.
Well, you'll keep an eye out for us, right?
I'm gonna be sleeping it off.
I couldn't ask you for anything else, sir.
Well, I appreciate your help. Be careful.
That, my friend, is a thing we do regularly.
All right.
I absolutely lie.
He's gonna stagger out of the boat, reach in his pocket, hand Johannathan a wooden nickel, and stagger into his island, where there is a house a little bit inland. And that is where we're going to break for the night. We'll pick this up next week.
All right.
Yeah, we'll come back to supper. For Ada and Clara, not to leave you guys hanging, you find nothing on the beach. It's all rocks.
Okay.
Yeah. But you do get some fresh air out of it.
I'm feeling slightly better.
Some better
Yeah.
fresh air than what we were experiencing earlier.
We went, downwind or upwind, which is
Excuse me.
okay.
Yeah.
I'm with you on that. Excuse me.
Oh God. Are we gonna get fed some surströmming?
Surströmming, is that a Swedish dish?
Yes.
No.
It's-
You're going to get fed herring.
It is specifically a. Oh, okay, that's fine. It's specifically a Swedish dish that is made out of fermented herring.
Then maybe. Oh,
Ooh.
boy. You never know.
Take that over haggis any day. Okay.
I mean,
Honestly, I think I'd go with haggis over
Yeah.
fermented
I think
fish.
haggis is something I would
Yeah.
probably try first.
Yeah.
this is like literally rotten fish.
Yeah.
Like, no thanks.
All right, gang. Well, thanks for playing. We'll finish this one
Yeah.
out next week.
All right.
Thanks for
This is
watching,
some good
everyone. We'll
time.
be back Friday. This time.